Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man Donovan Sadiq in the building, the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. It's ManCave Monday. I got my pocket right now. Demetra gonna sit in with it. But I tell you what, we trying to figure out, can you turn up into a housewife? I'm pretty sure that I could. Well, let's go. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. You know, without you guys, we would not have a show. So I appreciate you taking the time out to tune in to me and my good friends as we get into this, very, very important discussion tonight. And I was today I got my jacket redone in high school, my Letterman's jacket. And they left my state of Texas patch on the back blank. So I had to find a company out in Minnesota to put the stitching in that I want. And in the back it says big state of Texas patch. 1985 Texas 5A state football champions. Yates 37, Permian 0. So for y'all that don't know who Permian is, that's your Friday Night Light boys. So before you go watch the movie again, please understand that we dog walked them December 21st, 1985 in the old Texas Stadium. Yates 37, Permian 0, and they won't tell y'all the truth of the greatest state champion in Texas high school football history. Donovan, what's happening, my friend?
Man, and you guys get a chance, go to the 5 Stars page. You actually see a part of the jacket up there that he showed. I mean, when he first posted it, I said, did you have to put the score out there? And he said, the people need to know the truth. So congratulations on that. That's a great idea for those of us that are now in our 50s, ladies and gentlemen, whatever. Because back in our day, there was only certain sports that got Letterman's jackets. Now they give them if you're in band and all that other stuff. But yeah, to go back and, to kind of show the kids that, yeah, we used to play sports too, just like you guys. Y'all wasn't born with it. You got it from your daddy or your mama. So it's a great thing. But a lot of stuff going on in the news today. As you guys know, Joe Biden, once again, he pitched his infrastructure plan, which has nothing to do whatsoever with black people. He is dog whistling white people on the right and the left to let them know, I'm going to rebuild your wealth and your middle class stuff. So don't worry about it. And then it's also a dog whistle for the probationary whites, being the Hispanics and the Asians, that I'm going to take care of you too, because, these people have money and they do group economics and all that other stuff. So a lot of stuff going on there. If you guys checked out my podcast, I did show and prove that, again, the Congressional Black Talkers, not one statement in regards to what Kamala said. I went to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, not one statement in regards to what Kamala had said, that there's no racism, things of that nature. But I also want you guys to go back and check Friday's show and also the Demetra K show, where we all talked about we ain't got no damn friends. We got people in office that we ain't got no friends. Demetra?
Hello, well, we're friends, so that's all that matters. So if you guys, and welcome to Monday night's edition of It Man's on Monday. Clearly, I'm not a man, at least I don't think I am. But I'm sitting in for this very spirited discussion. I'm sure it will be. But if y'all can do us a favor and share this live so that everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation, we would greatly appreciate it. And yes, Ron Trail, Dogecoin has gone bonkers. I made an announcement earlier that I got me a whole bunch of those I call them Dodge, but Doge coins for 2 cents, a whole bunch of them. And it's now about 45 cents. So you guys do the math on a whole bunch. It's still not too late to get in because, people doubted Bitcoin, right? They're like, it ain't gonna be nothing. And now it's $56,000 per coin. So go on and get you some Doge coin. It's really never too late.
Yeah, I had to call Demetra because the platform that I had, I got my Fidelity account that got some, but I wanted to do it myself as well. So I called Demetra and I got in at 44 cents. So I know that's way more than what she put in, but dropped 1,000 right now just to get involved, and then I'll do more tomorrow when I get a chance to get the thing going. But please, you have nothing to lose. I mean, at 44 cents, if it goes to 65,000, you got nothing but time. So why not?
Absolutely. So yes. Anyway, you guys, I won't lead this discussion because it wasn't my idea of the whole into a housewife type of situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Gary kick that one off.
I think one of the biggest mysteries in the world is how these guys be turning hoes into housewives. I mean, can it be done? Can it be done? I think it's a very important situation that we have to have in the black community because there's some hoes in the house. There's some hoes in the house, and I'm just being honest with y'all. You know, I can't lie, but it's some hoes in the house. So, is there a formula? Is there a blueprint on how to do it? First of all, you have to really get down to defining a hoe. You know, everybody's not wifey material. Everybody's not wifey material, but then at the same time, we still go out there and we pick people. Now, Ice T had a song back in the day called "Some of You Is Too." So when we speak of turning hoes into housewives, you can turn a hoe into a house husband too, because some of y'all dudes ain't nothing but some hoes yourself. So is there a formula? If there a blueprint on how to do that, Donovan?
Well, I don't know if there's actually a blueprint. Well, I guess there is if you read the book Pimp by Iceberg Slim, which is one of the most sought after books in the nation because it is basically the Bible of pimping. And pimping is not getting the woman on the drugs. It's not, beating her with your hand. Pimping is controlling a woman's mind. And I would guess some form of turning a woman into a hoe would be a form of mind control. But in my experience, I have never ever seen a woman get turned into a hoe. It's usually already in her. You know what I mean? So, the women that I've experienced, she's already there. And you ladies know what I'm talking about because when the doors close, you don't know where the nose goes. It all comes out. So I think it's already there. So.
All right. I'll bite. All right. So the topic is, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? All right. So I guess we can, as you try to, I guess, define what a hoe is. And that's a woman with loose morals, if you will, I guess. Open to interpretation nowadays because there's women who are calling themselves that proudly. So I don't know, but I guess we're speaking of the ones that is not very honorable. The one that you wouldn't want to take home to meet your mom. Woman with loose morals who sleeps with a lot of people, and all of that. Now, can you turn one into a housewife? I think really it's a question of redemption. Are all people capable of being redeemed? Because I think at some point in time, we've all, maybe some more than others, had some sort of thing in their past that they wouldn't necessarily be proud of. Because I've heard that before where, you want to have a good time with a loose woman, and we'll use that term for now because we're on YouTube to get mad. But you have a good time with a loose woman, but that's as far as you go with that woman. You don't do anything else with her. But I think, if you are claiming to be a reputable man, why are you with that type of woman? So what does that make you?
Well, sometimes you don't know they hoes. I mean, sometimes you may not even know that they are. You may not even know that they loose or they were loose. You probably disconnected from them from years, knew them when you were growing up, and then disconnected from them, never had a chance to see them be who they really were. And then you get caught up in a situation, and before you know it, you're in love and all that stuff that come with it. And then at that point, you got to make a decision. I mean, once you find out, it is what it is. I mean, do you stick it out? Do you let them go? I mean, I think you made a good point with redemption. Can some people turn the corner, and become something better? I know quite a few hoes. I know quite a few. And I know a couple of them that then ended up being some decent housewives. But I think it's a character issue. Like our listener said, Selena Shepherd, you can give them a title, husband and wife, but you can't change their character. Because some of them just gonna be what they are. Now, as you look on social media every day, you tell me. I see some things on there that don't make no sense. And then the first thing you do, you look at their hand, they got a ring on. Well, somebody done took them. It's always somebody for somebody, and hoes need love too.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, but Demetria will tell you, I'm the first, and for those that, haven't really followed me for a long time, Demetria will tell you, I'm the first that tells you I love the ratchets because they're fun girls. You can do what you want to do with them. Would I marry one? No, I wouldn't marry one, but I love ratchets, right? But in regards to a hoe or housewife, when, I was contemplating that this weekend and I really thought about it. And I look at, and I'm not judging her, Kim Kardashian, okay? Woman made, she made a tape, sex tape, became notorious and got famous off making a sex tape. Now Kanye ends up wifing her. Would we call her a hoe that went to a housewife? And, and she's done some really good stuff politically and freeing some black people and stuff like that. I give it, but would she still be categorized as a hoe because she's married and have kids now?
Minus the little one. What's the little one's name? Carly. That's the young Kardashian.
Oh, Kylie.
The rest, Kylie. Kylie was just in a relationship with my man out of Missouri City, the rapper. I can't forget his name. It escapes me right now.
Travis Scott.
Minus her, Travis Scott. Minus her, the rest of them was some hoes. Kim was an industry hoe. Let's just go on and put that out there. Kanye ain't the first one. Ray J knocked the dust off that thing. And then Kanye come through. He tried to turn into a wifey. And, I think once she got married to Kanye, it kind of slowed her down because you didn't hear as much as her being out there. The other one, the other sister, what's the other sister name to me?
I don't keep up with them like that, but it's
well,
Chloe.
It's the one that was with Lamar Odom.
Chloe, whatever.
Ho, Chloe the hoe. Done slept with everybody and they mama. They mama a hoe.
But think about this.
I'm just telling you the truth.
But think about this.
And I really think they would have turned out better if their father had not died. If Robert Kardashian had not died, they still have the wealth, but I think they would have turned out better and they wouldn't be out there like that.
Well, and I was thinking about her specifically because, okay, and Demetria, you fell right into my trap and it falls right into the projection of what I'm going to say right now. Redemption. There's always redemption, right? Okay, she gets married, she marries Kanye, everything's good. But did you notice in the years that she was married to Kanye, she was still, and I think, Demetria, we did a show on this, she was still putting pictures out there of herself. She was still posting to Twitter and all these things, very provocative pictures. I don't know what Kanye's situation was or how he felt about it. But I believe, as a man, it made me think like, well, wait a minute. He's married to her. These are very provocative pictures. Is this a pimp and hoe relationship or what is it? So do you remember that show we did on that when talking about that?
Yeah, I remember the show, but I vaguely remember what happened. But I also think we need to ask the question of prerogative. Is it a person's prerogative of who they want to, sleep with or how many people they want to sleep with? I also think about how we always call women's sex lives into question, or deeming her to not be valuable if she's got so many miles on her. But we rarely call men's sexual encounters into question, right? You don't even think about a man who may be loose and out there sleeping with everybody, community D, as people would say. That rarely gets battle tested. But if a woman sleeps with, one too many, whatever that is, then she's to be discarded and left for the streets, as I've heard a lot of people say. And I've always been one of those type of women. I never wanted to be with a man who was promiscuous, because, you weren't selective with who you were with either. So to me, I think both should be called into question. But I mean, is it a woman's right to do that? I mean, and what difference does it make? Now, what she did when she was with you before. Now, if you are with a woman who is still considered a loose woman, then I think you probably need to check yourself. Why are you with a woman who is still that way? Now, she used to be that. Then I think you need to leave that in the past. But again, if she's that now, I mean, she's not to be questioned. You should be questioned.
Well, Demetra, how I feel about that. My mom always told me, a woman that is like, let's say a woman has kids. Some people, I can't marry a woman that got kids. That just shows experience. I mean, I have no problem with a woman that's going to do that, because, and let's be real, fellas, let's be real. And Demetra doesn't talk about it all the time, but she alludes to it all the time. I think we did it on Friday. Nobody wants to sit here and get with you and you're like this. We all want that lady in the street and freak in the sheets. And, and for me, like I said, I think people should have hoish tendencies within them. I don't know if you can make somebody a hoe. I think it's like if it's in you. Some people are just really frigid and they're just, it's not in them. But, to me, and then Afro Diaspora Network says Donovan is known to be friends with a few female porn stars. Yes, I am friends with a few porn stars. Now, just remember, these people are human beings. Just because they're porn stars, I can't judge for them what they do and where they go and how they make their bread. And I'm not going to judge them. They're still my friends. I know some people are saying, well, wow, would you ever get with a porn star? I've been invited on adult film sets and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. Other than the 5-star, there's no way I could do an adult film with all of those people in the room. I know a lot of guys think they can. It ain't happening.
Well, let me also ask this question really quick. So are we defining a loose woman by her sexual abilities, or are we defining a loose woman by her being, because when I think of a loose woman, I think of a loose woman who, a woman who is not loyal, who will potentially cheat and just can't, it's just hot all the time. And she's just got to be out there with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, no pun intended, right? So how are we defining this loose woman?
A loose woman, loose man, to me, would be considered community dang-a-lang and kitty cat. We know what we talking about. We talking about somebody out there sleeping with any and everybody, but at the same time, now, and we just can't pick on Kim, because I will go to the African-American side and say that, Beyonce, you married a hoe. You married a hoe. It's what it is. So, the thing is if you out there sleeping with any and everybody, then you're going to end up probably with that moniker. But see, here's the thing. You said so, Murder, about how men, they don't get drugged back. First of all, y'all say we dogs. They say we dogs. Okay, so we dogs is we've accepted that over the years. Roof, we dogs. Here's the problem. A man can come back from that label being put on him. But a woman sometimes carries that forever. And if for some strange reason, they will not take that label off some of these women. You see what I'm saying? Like I gave Kim credit. Once she got married to Kanye, it slowed down. She started being more mother-like. But I mean, it's hard sitting in the, in a major theater, and you at the Grammys, and you sitting next to somebody trying to play wifey, and you done seen them play with the meat. With Ray J, play with his meat. And now you want people to take you serious. You see what I'm saying? You want people to take you serious. I mean, ask Demetra because maybe she could answer this, or Donovan. Is Future a hoe? Shawty Low had 10 kids. Is he a hoe? You see what I'm saying? It could go both ways. So I ain't gonna sit here and just drag no women. Because some of these dudes out here, they hoes, they worse hoes than they women are.
Let me say this, because I think when women get labeled as a loose woman, it's a, like you said, it's a stigma to it, right? Like, she done slept with everybody. Now I wouldn't mind sleeping with her. I ain't gonna tell nobody. But you know, she gets that stigma, because I can think of, even since, you know, when I was in junior high, the girl who was considered to be a loose woman, when I see her and I'm friends with her on Facebook, and that comes to my mind. That was the label that.
Did you go to high school with her? What's her name?
No. But that was the label that people gave her. Now, when I think of the dude who was with every girl except for me wanted to be with him. It was just like, oh, he's so cute. Oh, you know, he was desirable. So there is this like double standard when a man is out there. He just seems like he's like hot commodity. But when a woman is that way, even in her 50s, she's still known as that loose woman. And so that's why I said, where does redemption come in? You know, especially if she's not behaving that way anymore.
Well, and you know what I think about when men put labels like that on a woman, it's because they're basically insecure in, to me, in themselves. Would I marry a woman that, let's say, is a hoe, or she had let's say she was a stripper, or she was in a pornographic past? Because people, women say, well, stripping isn't. Come on now, y'all know some of y'all when y'all were younger was in that VIP room making some extra money, just like Chris Rock said. Will be no champagne in the VIP room. So y'all know that. But I think when a guy is like, oh, I can't do that, whatever, there is redemption. Because like I said, I would have no problem dating a woman that had a notorious past, however you want to look at a notorious past, because I got to judge her moving forward, not what she did moving back. But at the same time, though, if I get with her and she talk about, well, I don't do that, in the entertainment part in the bedroom, I'd be like, wait, come on now, let's see what you got. But yeah, I do believe that a woman could be redeemed, because what we were when we were younger and in the past has no bearing on how we move in the future.
But can you turn a hoe into a housewife? Yeah, I believe you can. I believe as people get older, when you start getting older, you start doing better. I just see it in a lot of people. I see people that don't do the same things that they did when they were younger. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even think, I just think when I get with somebody or you get with somebody, whatever they did in their past is they past. If you accept them right there where they are, then they past shouldn't matter. You see what I'm saying? They past shouldn't matter. But I'd be damned if you a former porno star and then tell me that you ain't gonna slob on the knob. You're gonna put some work in around here tonight. They used to call you jawbone. Time to go back to your past for a second.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Or they find religion. You can find religion. The Bible says the bed is not to be defiled. Anything goes in the bedroom if you're married. So some of y'all y'all go totally left with it. And then you wonder. And I get in arguments with a lot of my female friends and ladies that I date, and I say, and I told this one lady in particular, we were just talking. I just said, men cheat. Some men are just damn fools and they're just doing it because that's just their idea of manhood. But I said, why would I cheat if you're doing everything I would want you to do? I would have no reason to go out there and cheat. Now I know things change. People people gain weight, lose weight, whatever. But the thing is, though, I always believe what you do to get a person is what you do to keep a person. And we know there's certain things that go on that's beyond people's control. But in some relationships, a lot of these people, men and women, get too damn comfortable. And then they wonder why the guy goes out or the female goes out and gets her a younger dude or whatever. But yeah, I do believe you can, because like I said, the book Pimp is a prime example of how you can turn a hoe into a housewife. Because a lot of pimps, their last hoe, in a lot of cases, in the old school way of doing this, because these new wannabe gangster pimps, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, because you're making all this money and yet you have nothing to show for it. But in the book, usually like your last woman that's with you is the one he ends up with. And he, wipes her up and all this other stuff because, at that point, he's out of the game. He became a square and, he just wants to go on. He probably has kids with her and stuff. So,
Well, I mean, if she's going into retirement, I mean, you're going to have to take her as she is. She ain't going to be hanging from the chandeliers with your black ass no more. Anyway, and I say, I mean, I'm just saying you better settle for that mummy and keep it pushing. But, a man cannot turn a loose woman into a housewife because she has to turn herself into that. You as a man don't have the ability to make her be anything she is not willing to be on her own terms. And so that is something she has to say, hey, you know what? I was for the streets. Now I'm for the sheets with you and you only, okay? Also, Donovan, I just want to, debunk a little bit of what you said about that whole cheating thing. You say, now maybe that's for you, particularly. Just say, normally if a woman is doing everything she's supposed to be doing for a man, and he don't have a reason to be out there, I want to say that's a goddamn lie, okay? And it just is. I think y'all gender are just greedy. Y'all greedy and y'all like, as much attention. A good friend of mine, an older cat, told me long time ago, a man is only as faithful as his options, okay? So the point that I'm making is saying that is, because a lot of women think, well, what did I do? I do everything. I cook, I clean, I bend it over like Beckham. I never tell him no, and he's still out there. It ain't her, it's him, okay? So I, just wanted to say that. And men stop performing too. It ain't just on the women. Men stop performing as well. And so I'm one of those people like to debunk stuff as far as, oh, well, it's the women, she walks around with her sweats and her moo-moo on and she's unattractive and, has a headache every day of the week. Nah, it ain't just women, it's men too. So, I mean, just like a man, per your theory, a man is cheating because, the woman stops putting out. Well, can't that be true for the woman as well?
Absolutely. And I thought I clarified that I said both sides do it.
You did, but I'm just speaking out loud.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking out loud in that, because a lot of times people really think it's all the woman. It's something she did.
No. Actually, if I don't know if you guys are still watching the old videos, but if you see like some of the videos now, you see these dudes. Okay, I have a lot of friends that are in the industry, right? In the porn industry. We're talking about porn right now, but I know hoe and housewife, kind of the same thing. Have you noticed that in a lot of videos you see the same dude? It's always like a small group of dudes that are doing all the ladies that come into the business, right? Now, these guys have been doing it for 20 or 30 years. And of course, their body has changed. Now you see the guy with the big stomach and all this other stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
Right, that's an anomaly. Most dudes ain't Ron Jeremy up in this mug.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. And that's where I was going. So, the regular person, we know, the visual of some things ain't the same and, it's never going to be the same. So, but as on the men's side of it, can, men, be turned into hoes and stuff like that? I think inherently, because of how we were designed from the creator, just like any animal out there, we're designed to have sex with as many women as possible for the propagation of the species. So that's something that's ingrained in us. I'm not saying it makes it right, because we are a species that can be monogamous. And there's like the whales, you got certain species that can have one mate and deal with it. But we're already hoes. As to me, my definition is a man is already a hoe. It's ingrained in us.
Well, man, I'm gonna jump off into this. I'm on the diving board right now. I'm in the 10 feet. I can't swim, but I'm gonna jump off in this water, man. Man, I want to tell y'all something. All that about women chains and all that. Oh, I ain't attracted to it no more. Come on over here to old 5-star. I don't give a damn if you're blind, crippled, and crazy. You got one leg. I'm gonna have that other. I'm gonna have that good leg in there. I don't care if you for me. You for me. I'm put it on you every chance I get. We both gonna be on SSI in this mother. We both gonna be labeled disabled in here. Cause I'm gonna get mine. I promise you. I'm not gonna play with you at all. And I think that's what needs to be understood. But these dudes out here, you're right. They don't perform like they used to, and then they go get that heart medication. They go take that heart medication. That's what I call it. Them blue pills. And then all of a sudden the chest started hurting, man. And you beat him halfway killing. But if I'm gonna die, then I'd love to die inside of some good. You feel me? I'm just gonna tell you the real. But I'm gonna tell you this here: men cheat because we selfish. A lot of times we just selfish, and I've admitted on this show in the past that I cheated. I wasn't the best person. I mean, but as I'm getting older, my reputation follows me. So automatically, if something pops up, oh, he had to be doing it. No, I didn't. But based on my reputation, you automatically think I'm still a hoe. Yeah, I was a miniature hoe back in the day. But I wore a lot of hats. I was a hoe, a porno star, a pharmaceutical salesman, an entertainer. You got it all when you got with me.
And yet a lot of women find that lifestyle attractive for some reason. And that's what I was saying. When a man is known to be that, the women don't say, oh no, avoid him like the plague. He's absolutely no good. It seems like you become a magnet when you're a man that behaves that way, Go ahead, Donovan.
Well, let me ask you this as a woman. Why is it true? And I've heard this from a lot of my female friends. Y'all will be talking among each other, say, ooh, so-and-so girl, he worked this and that. Is it true that when you say stuff like that to your girlfriends, some girlfriends who might backstab you want to try and say, whoa, well, let me see what that's about.
No, you don't need to ask her that. Ask me that. Man, you know how many times I done told a mate that? You need to stop telling them women that shit, man. Because you out there talking your business, and before you know it, it is what it is. And they will do it. They will do it. I want to read Tiffany Campbell. She's on another page. She say, my ex was an alcoholic and his penis stopped working. That was a major problem. Older men that's not taking care of themselves run into ED problems. Exactly. You want to be out there and be drunk every day, then all of a sudden your little wood don't stand up no more. You got a wife that's just, she ready, man. And now she can't get none. You see what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden it ain't working no more. You want to be a good husband. But when it was working, you was a hoe. When it was working, you was a hoe. But I'm just being honest with you, man. They called me 50 degrees. Honestly, that's what they called me back in the day. That's my windshield expectancy when that little wood stand up. Because I ain't got no problems. Period. None. Stand up at the drop of a dime. Yeah. I can't even look at the Victoria's Secret goddamn catalog.
Wait, I used to get the Victoria's Secret with Tyra Banks in it. That was my thing. When Tyra Banks was in there, I was on that catalog. But our girl Kiki says, no, that's not true for me. I've never wanted my friend's man. No, what I'm saying is, sometimes when when you ladies be talking among each other and that word goes out, it piques the cue of other women because you got the guy in the neighborhood that has 5 kids by 4 different women in the same neighborhood. How does that happen if he ain't out there slanging?
And now Kiki's absolutely right. There is a girl code, and I am one that have always adhered to that. Never ever thought any of my friend, my sister, none of their men were attractive. You never even saw them in that light, it was like, to me, it was like, ew, just even knowing that he belonged to one of my friends, and I wouldn't even want to date a dude that of a woman that I kind of knew, right? And I was just like, never even saw him in that light. Now, sure, women do talk about, personal things, but no, I've never thought, oh shit, I just got to try that. Like they say with drug addicts here, somebody overdosed, they like, where they get it at?
See, Blazing 187, y'all, let me tell you something. You may not talk like that, but I done walked up on some women having some conversation, and Blazing 187 say, hold on, what that mouth do? Y'all say that. They be saying that. I done walked up on them talking, and be plotting. Them conversations worse than the boys in the barbershop. I'm being honest, I hadn't heard it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all. Yeah. I like when y'all talk like that, though. Keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, sure, women can be animated, but that's amongst your girls or whatever the case is. But yeah, still, there's no cause for a woman to want to sleep with her friend's man. I mean, that's just really low morals and no respect. And I just kind of would think you would know if you have a girlfriend, friend that would potentially try to get with your man. And I'm one of those people too. I don't think you should be talking all your business. I don't care who it is about what you and your mate are doing in the bedroom. I mean, some things should just be left to yourself. Because it's like, for example, I don't know if that's something men do necessarily, undress their woman. Let's say they're in the barbershop or whatever. But how would you like your homie thinking of your woman that way? You done told her all the stuff y'all done did the night before in the bedroom. And when he see her, he like, damn, so.
I got the answer for you, okay? Now, if you're a dude out there and you don't agree with this, I'm going to have to say something, okay? Here's the deal. I want my friends and even strangers, when my woman passes by, I want them to look at her. I want them to want her. Because if they don't, what the hell am I doing with her?
There's one thing for you wanting your homies to say, damn, she look good. He got him, she fine. But it's another for him to be thinking, well, damn, I want to try that.
Well, see, here's the problem with that.
What's that mouth do?
Yeah, well, that's the problem with that. I'm not a professional like 5-star, but I hold mine down where I'm at. So I don't worry about those kind of situations because I hold mine down.
Me, I'm going to tell you, I don't do no handcuffing. I don't do no handcuffing. I ain't finna be calling you when I'm gone. What you doing? I ain't got time for it. I ain't finna be watching. I ain't finna be checking on phones. I am not Bobby Brown. I'm not Mr. Telephone Man. Whatever you gonna do, you got time and opportunity to pull it off anyway. You gonna do it. So, you try to keep it 100 and do what you do, but at the same time, if you don't know this person was a hoe and ain't got past them hoish ways, if she ain't been baptized in the hoism, then she ain't went through the holy water of baptism for hoism, then she might have a relapse. And if she have a relapse, all your homies gonna get it.
I mean, and let's be real, D. I mean, you're the only woman on the panel, of course, but let's be real. There has been situations, and I've seen it even in high school, where there was that girl that the football guys ran a train on. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but we know it happens. And yet, she's still the home girl with you guys, are still hanging out and stuff like that. And we know it happens. So, I can't see how a person could sit there and be holier than thou, like they never make a mistake, and you want to judge this person for what they want to do. If that girl wants to do that and do whatever, I don't know if because I was raised overseas where prostitution is legal, red light districts is legal. I believe prostitution should be legal. That's just me. But, you know, I just don't see anything wrong with the woman that wants to go out there, you know, if she's in her early 20s, just like the dudes do, and she's having fun and she's out there doing what she's got to do. It's not what she does, it's how she does it, though. That's the key. You know, if she's just out there and everybody's just knowing all the shit, you got the video, it's on TV, it's in, you know, everybody's sharing it on the messenger, that's a problem. But if she's out there and, you know, having fun at a young age, yeah, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it. But when she becomes a mother a little bit, you know, kind of like Kim Kardashian, kind of scroll it back a little bit.
Okay. But some of these young hoes turn into old hoes. Yeah, they do. Ain't nothing. I mean, some of them turn into old hoes. And if you out there in them streets, you gonna see them old hoes, man. You know, when Poke Bear come on, side piece and all that, they get to throwing up their motherfucking hands and hollering with that crown in their hand. That's a old hoe, man. I don't give a damn what you tell me. That's a old hoe, man. And some of them can't get rid of their hoish ways, man. They can't get rid of them. So I think that there needs to be some federal funding put in place so that they can create whole rehabilitation centers all over the country.
And it's going to be filled with nothing but men. So
hey, we need some federal funding to kind of like the LGBT to reorganize their thinking process and stuff, you know,
that's just going to be wasted money. Let's keep it real. But Blazing 187 says, I never cuffed him either. I let her do what she do. Yeah, I mean, that's my philosophy too. I don't care where you are. If that's who you are and that's in you, you're going to find the opportunity to do that. You know, you can put a tracking system on people and all of the above, and that person is still going to figure out how to, you know, be elsewhere. And so, yeah, I mean, we grown at the end of the day, and you can't stop another person from doing what they want to do. But the question is, do you want to put up with it?
Right, well, let me ask you this, Demetria. You're a veteran. In your you're a military veteran. In your experience, you know, being in the military and everything like that, is hoism a big part of the military, and you know, and the experience of it?
I just want to make a clarification here. Now, when he says I was a veteran in the military, I have visited a couple of bases, but I have never been in the dorm room like that. Okay?
She wasn't a barracks rat.
No. Okay, so I just didn't want to connect veteran and hoism together. Like, oh, well, Demetria's the expert on that dude. I was a good girl. Okay, I still am. Well, I think when I was, because, you know, going to the bases was a thing for young girls, you know, 18 and you go to the bases. I would see that more attributed to the older women that would go to the bases or try to find them a military man. A lot of the women who had kids already, they were looking for a man with some benefits. And it's known that, you know, you get married to a man in the military, hell, you set. You get a stipend as a wife and you get housing and, you know, you get all of that. And so I knew the older women would do a lot, you know, to get cuffed or married or whatever to these military dudes. But the younger girls, like myself back then, we just wanted to go to the dance or get on the base and, you know, run around and, you know, meet the dudes. And more than likely we got on the base because we was at a club and we met a military man at the club, and he'd be like, "Oh, come to the base next weekend. I'm a sponsor you on." And that's how we would end up there. But, you know.
Well, they ain't doing it nowadays. All they doing is screwing with no rubbers on, putting you on 18-year financial plans. That's what they doing now. So, you know, I think you got to watch yourself. But I think that we need to start advocating. And Stacey Campbell saying she don't believe that they should take her tax dollars and create these rehabilitation centers. Where they doing it for everything else. They doing it for everything else. Man, don't you know that in the course of a day, you can get some kitty cat faster than you can find a job because it's located everywhere. Now, I think we need to figure out where a lot of these hoes come from. I think we need to figure out where a lot of these hoes come from. I'm gonna tell you now, Reverend Pastor, Preacher, Doctor, 5-star. Go to the church. You can find you a good hoe at the church. Now you might mess up the church's money because you know they selling at the church. But if you can get out the church, you might have found you a good one. Another one. Tell me if I'm wrong. Find you a teacher's kid. No matter what age they didn't shelter them, they didn't heal them. And when they turn them loose, their hoism goes wild. You feel what I'm saying? Where else can we locate these hoes at, down?
A really good spot to meet a lot of hoes is at weddings. Go to the weddings. Because when the girlfriend gets married, the other chicks want to get married too.
But I'm not trying to get married at the wedding. I just need this hoe. Ain't nobody. I ain't tell you go catch no bouquet. I ain't tell you run over all them other women over there trying to catch them flowers. That ain't what I came here for.
And I also want to say this, not that I'm a man, but I've, seen a lot. There's this misnomer, I guess, if you will, that once a man gets a certain age, he just, those was the days. I'm done hoeing. I ain't got it in me no more. That is not true. Okay, they all the way up to 80 hoeing. I don't think there's, especially for a man, there is no time limit or shelf life on hoeing. Because there's a lot of women who will wait a man out. Like, he's one of these days, he gonna stop. He ain't gonna stop. He'll stop when he's dead.
Right. Woman.
And then even when he's dead, at the funeral, you're gonna have women hopping up like popcorn. Oh, he was my man. Oh, I've seen it happen.
But now the caliber hoe that you can locate is dictated by the calendar. It's dictated by the calendar. Now, if you're looking for a ghetto fabulous hoe, be at the grocery store on the 1st of the month. If she got 2-3 baskets, she ready. You done located her. She got 2-3 kids in the basket, hanging off the basket. You done located her. Man, we used to go from city to city. I had a partner named Uncle T. We in LA. Now we talking about the city of angels. We at the Sunset Room. If you ain't never been to LA, I don't even know if it's still open, but you might need to hit it. But you can't just walk up in there. You got to be on the list. So 5-star was on somebody's list. Uncle T was like, man, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, dog, look at her. I mean, we surrounded by just goddesses. Man, I need to go to Nicholson Gardens, man. He didn't give a damn. He wanted one from the projects.
He like living on the wild side.
So guess where we was the next day? In Watts. He was at home in Watts. He would not drink nothing in that club. He was uncomfortable because all he wanted was a ghetto fabulous hoe. Because you know what came with it. And you get perks. Hoism is like when you find the right one, it's like finding a good job. You get benefits. You get stamps. You get Section 8. You get all that come with the game, man.
The old green book. But our girl Kiki says, how do you rehabilitate a hoe? And I'm thinking that's a good question for the simple fact, do you just put her through her paces and let everybody come in and train her? Or, do you throw some holy water on her?
You take that hoe to the pastors who going to hook her up with the first lady who was probably a hoe herself.
Right. And then, you're right about the church, because how many stories do you hear about the deacons in the church impregnating the young, 18-year-old or 19-year-old girl, maybe even younger, within the church? It goes on all the time.
You guaranteed to see three things in the church. I've seen it with my own eyes. One, you're gonna see and feel the Holy Spirit. And two, titties. And three, ass. Y'all know how y'all dress and go into church. I can't focus on the word. I can't get this devilment up at me because I see titties at the altar.
And then 5-star, would you say that the Big Hat Gang are the leaders of
the Big Hat Gang? If y'all don't know who the Big Hat Gang is, y'all know them. They in all y'all churches. That's them old women that sit up on the front row. And amen with all them goddamn hats on, and you can't see nothing. So you might want to sit off to the sides so that you can see. But them, remember I always told y'all, hoes come in 3 generations. What you call them from the 60s? Them the baby boomers, right? Them the baby boomer hoes. I'm telling y'all, them the civil rights hoes. That's how Martin and them folk were getting caught up. Them civil rights hoes, man. I ain't riding the bus hoes no more. I want to drink out my own water fountain hoes. Them the ones that sit on the front row. That's the Big Hat Gang.
Now I know damn well somebody going to hell for tonight's conversation. No, you did not call it.
Well, if I go tonight, if I go, then I'm gonna be down there with a whole bunch of hoes. I promise you that. Man, I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying. Y'all know I'm not lying. Come on. Last time you went to church, tell me that you ain't look at somebody and say, I cannot believe they got that on. Look like they came straight off the pole, smelling like that J. Prince loyalty. Yeah. Now you coming in here begging for forgiveness after an hour after you just got out the after hour.
Yeah, and you know what, 5-star, you ain't lying, because what's one of the first things that the pastor says when the plate's going around for the third time? Y'all can stay in the clubs all night and no excuse why you can't be in my church all morning.
Man, the pastors be giving out code signals. They be giving out code signals. I want you to, up to now, this how they do it. You got to know. See, if you got some old pimping in you, you're going to know what they doing. This is the time that we open. Watch it. Watch his hand action. Open the doors of the church. What he telling you, come on to the baptism pool that's really camouflaged as the jacuzzi and open your legs. The pastor be giving out code words. I'm telling y'all, man. All you got to do is go listen. All you got to do is go listen. I think that I might need to come down there and lay hands on you. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about one of the more high-ass massages. I know what they be doing, man. I figured them out a long time ago.
There is something wrong with your ass, for real, okay?
You know them pastors that sit in the pulpit? You know, back in my day, I was a pimp. You got any documentation like a COVID ID card that say you got over that shit? Because you still pimping. You ever notice the women that work at the church in the office, all of them chest be out the hill? Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. You can't get to that. You try to get to that pastor, that woman finna have a problem with you. That already told me he done opened the doors of the church.
See, well, at least you guys got that, because I was raised the Catholic, and all we get is the melody, "Kumbaya, my Lord," and the old farm moms. I mean, most of the women when I was growing up in the Catholic Church looked like the ladies from a Little House on the Prairie.
Say, man, I'm on it tonight. It's a lot that go on in the church, man. In it, because kids, they praise dance, right? Okay. Why that old grown ass one up there praise dancing with no drawers on? Up there with no drawers on in the church. And we talking about pushing the demons out the church. Praise dancing with no drawers on.
Only see that in the Black community. What about the usher ladies that ain't got no bra on?
Another thing, why is all the churches set up? Why they need all them chairs back there where the pastor sit at in the pulpit? See, the pastor normally sit in the pulpit, and then there's about 4 or 5 chairs, next to him. But you notice they did something about 20, 30 years ago. They made the pulpit clear and see-through. You notice that? That's because the women sitting on the front row be crossing their legs back and forth. I done scoped the pastor out. I know what you're doing, homeboy. How you gonna help the hoes when you're attributing to hoism?
Yeah, to their behavior. You're trying to save them, but you're contributing to their behavior.
I don't want to leave nobody out. And I don't want you to feel like, we only talk about certain people. You ever been to the church where the pastor was gay? Who sit on the front row? Same thing, pulpit, clear, see-through. You think I don't know what you're doing? You think I done watched them? See, I was sitting in the church before the higher power worked on me, and I would observe because I didn't trust being nowhere. And I would just watch. And I saw a bunch of strange stuff. But like I said, praise dancing with no drawers on. I done seen it. Why you just can't, if we went out down by the riverside and they was baptizing us in that nasty ass water in Galveston, we just gonna show up with what we got on, am I right? Why you always gotta put them in them little white robes? And then dunk them in that water and think we don't see? I know what you're doing. I
got a question for you, 5-star. Why is it that Wednesday Bible study goes for like 2-3 hours at the pastor's house?
Because that's away from the sanctuary where they're providing extra guidance on you to make sure that you can make it to heaven. And you notice this, I think if you ever go and ask to see the church's financial records, ain't none of the hoes putting nothing in the basket. But let your grandmama don't put something in that basket and she die. Or we can't run her body through here. But all the hoes get ran through the church. All the hoes get their body ran through the church. Top-notch A1 funeral. But your grandma been there 40 years. Your grandma went to church with Harriet Tubman. She can't get her body ran through the church. But the hoes get ran through there like they foreign dignitaries.
I just know that if a lightning bolt strikes, it won't hit me. Okay, I'm just an innocent bystander. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Yeah. So I guess we have determined that loose women are everywhere, and the men who love
everywhere. They in your kids' classrooms. I mean, think about how many teachers then got caught up. How many teachers then got caught up. I mean, it's what it is, man. And they everywhere, Demetri. I'm talking about everywhere. Hoes like roaches.
Wow. All right. Well, I don't even really know what to say. I'm scared at this point. I'm scared to say.
I think we should all just grab hands and say, neighbor, thou shalt not be a hoe. Because I love the Lord, he heard my cry.
That's right. I'm sanctified that Jesus came and he washed all the sin away. So I'm moving forward.
Well, what you need to do is get some vinegar because someone they washing everything away. They might have washed the sin, but they ain't washed that fish smell. I so hope you ain't talking about catfish.
That went all the way to the left. Okay, all the way.
I don't like no. You see, no matter if we're in a public building, in a church, at the PTO meeting, at the Boy Scout meet, I can always tell a hoe with my nose. Some of them things, the dishes, I know she a hoe. And then you come sit right next to me. And you smelling like a bottle of vinegar, like you got high blood pressure, and you've been drinking vinegar all day. You ain't no goddamn poke roast. You put vinegar on the poke roast. But I'm just telling y'all, I tell them, I can smell a hoe from a mile away.
Yeah, and you know what? In the early 90s, there was a movie by the Hughes brothers. Those were the guys that did Menace to Society. It's called American Pimp. Greatest soundtrack of pimping in there. And they talk about the essence of the American pimp and stuff. And I forgot who it was. I think it was Bishop Don Magic Juan or one of them. He
was in there. He was in there.
Yeah, but one of them said something that you can, it's a way you can tell when a woman's down to be hoish. There's just, she's got the look, or there's a look she has, or a way she carries herself. And and that's in the book, and it's also in the book Pimp. He says the same thing. It's a distinct way that they carry themselves, and you can tell if they're down for it or not, just in the conversation.
That's some hogwash, okay? That's
true. That's true.
Come on now.
That's in the book. That's in the Pimpin' Bible.
Listen, I read the book. Okay, I read the book, and I don't think that's true, because it's a lot of you men who take home women y'all think is wholesome, and she just the sweetest school marm who never hurt a fly. You come home early from one day from work and
dump.
Walking there and she get in the wood. Walking in there. But I think that as you evolve in your relationships, that people can change and accept them changes, and just move on. If you really want to test her hoism, then make sure that she has everything at home so she don't have to go outside of the house, so that she can be what she need to be in the bedroom. Put you a stripper pole in your bedroom. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you like, put you a stripper pole in there. Ain't nothing like a big girl on a stripper pole. Ain't nothing like it. I mean, I had one back in the day. I couldn't find no regular pole. I had to go get one of them goddamn them poles that you build fences with.
Right, you had to reinforce it. Right.
I had to reinforce it
in the ceiling.
But I let her do her thing, and every now and then she get some splinters in her. But she put work in on that thing, man. I oiled it down, and it was what it was.
Well, I will say this too. You can have everything for a woman at home, and if she's a strained kind, there's nothing you can do. Some people just like variety, even at the detriment of the person they're with. They might say they want to be in a relationship, and I think deep down inside they really do, but they want variety. I had a friend a long time ago who was cheated on his wife all the time. And I asked,
I told you not to tell that story. Damn.
No, it wasn't you. But he cheated on all the time. And I said, why are you cheating on her? She sounds like, she's a good woman and this, that, and the other. He says she is. She's a good woman, but he says, the best way I can describe it is, when you get a new car and it's new, you want to drive it and, you want to go everywhere. After a while, it's like, I don't feel like driving. And then you get another car and it's new, you want to drive it. So he says, I just like the feeling of something new. He says, I'll never leave my wife and I would probably kill her if she did it to me. But he says, I like the feeling of being with something new, the excitement and all of that. And then I go home. She ended up leaving him, though.
What's kind of funny that you say new. As you know, I drive my 17-year-old car and I got a new car. Because sometimes when you get a little older, you realize the Maserati is great for the weekends and if you're highballing and you're at an event or something and a lot of people are going to be there. But there's nothing wrong with good old reliable Sally because, I got her where I want her and it fits just perfect. The sizing, everything is great. Everything's where I want it. So sometimes, you just kind of, you just like the old regime, the old ride. There's nothing wrong with the old ride. It's like them old Westerns.
Well, back in the day, I used to dream about having cars. I did all my pimping on the bus, the city bus. Especially up there sitting in the front in the handicap seats when the thing was full and wasn't no handicapped people on. You had to come down candy back in the day. Because back in the day, we didn't have all this luxury stuff that they got nowadays. You know what I'm saying? But I think social media has attributed to hoism. It's allowed people to have a forum to be hoes, and sometimes they take it too far.
I mean, and I'm agree with you that because this OnlyFans thing, it's gotten out of control. Last I checked on Phil Scott's show, Reverend Run's daughter opened my OnlyFans. What's her name? Angela Simmons? Is that her name? Yeah, she opened my OnlyFans or whatever the deal is. And you got older women open up OnlyFans and stuff. And you got the hoes on the stroll. They got OnlyFans. Because I know we're in a pandemic.
But when do you get too old to be a hoe? That's some of the best hoes you'll run into is old hoes.
I mean,
so when you get
define hoe, because I'm thinking if an older woman is, got a lot of male callers. Ooh, I sound old. She's gentleman callers. Got a lot of male callers. Maybe that's what she wants. Maybe she's like, I've tried all, the monogamy, and now I'm just out here doing me. I'm sugar mama in these streets.
You might be right. Because I see an overabundance of old hoes that's just running around trying to get their minds right. And like I say, we really need to allocate some federal funding. And I'm going to see at the next legislative season in 2 years if I can get some representative to write a bill to get federal funding to create rehabilitation centers for hoes.
But the good, one of the good things about, being military, my uncle who was a Marine, he said one thing about some of the old hoes that, he ran into was they could take out their teeth. And he said, had you ever had a gummy bear? I was like, what the hell is a gummy bear? He goes, well, you'll find out, one day if you don't already know. So he said, there's nothing like an old hoe.
I think it just gets to a point where it just gets to a point where, okay, you're a little bit too old. You're a little bit too old, man. And I think at that point you got to kind of let the game go past the baton, because they got a new breed of hoe out here. They setting folk up and, putting shit in your drinks and all that shit. They stealing your identity. Motherfucker, you just clip you. Like my mama say, you just clip you. for a couple of dollars out your wallet. These motherfuckers steal your whole identity. Now they getting lights in your name.
The kids grew up, so they had to go to plan C.
Well, I like I said, I just think it's really it just needs to be defined, and I don't know. I think a holism is subjective. I mean, what actually makes a person that, Now,
but it go both ways. It go both ways.
I agree. Yeah, it does go both ways. I mean, there's some people who will never settle down, and they'll, be hopping from bed to bed, or back seat to back seat, whatever floats your boat. Some people will they will never stop doing that.
Well, they got so many types of hoes. Like I say, they had civil rights hoes back in the day. Nowadays we got vaccine hoes. If they can get somebody to pass out the vaccine and they can get some grant money, them vaccine hoes. You got PPE hoes that know how to do the loans and all that. You feel what I'm saying? They got all types of hoes out here nowadays. They got all types of hoes out here nowadays, man. And the thing is to be serious, if you want these young ladies to transform, you're going to have to transform and show them something else. If you want these dudes to transform, we got to show them something else. You feel what I'm saying? Because otherwise, they just going to grow up and be hoes. And, ain't nothing worse. I'm going to tell you this here, and maybe you can speak on it, Donovan. Ain't nothing worse than a broke hoe.
Well, that term, my mother always said, in my mom's old school, she said, a broke hoe, that shouldn't even be a word, because as long as you got, well, Demetra knows what I'm about to say, but go ahead, Demetra, and elaborate on that.
He's basically saying that if you got that, you should never be broke, right? Because the premise is really, why are you giving something so precious away? You just here, it's free fall, But yeah, you talking about, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my light bill. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my, my rent or whatever, right?
But some of these hoes light bill is $10.
But the idea is, and I know some people say, well, that sounds like prostitution. Well, it sounds like a business transaction to me. I mean, you giving it away for free. So, and I'm not advocating any of it, but I'm just saying that, make it make sense. What sense does it make that you on your back, but yet when you looking up at the ceiling, ain't no lights on, So if you sleep, if you with somebody and they want that part of you, be like, hey, you know what? Now you coming over, whatever. I have needs too. I need to pay these light bills. And so if you could, be so generous and help me out. My mom used to always say,
I wouldn't mind paying it if I was there the whole month.
Nah.
But if I was just there for one night, I don't owe you nothing.
No, Luther Vandross.
Matter of fact, we ain't even use the lights when I was there.
Nah, Luther. Nah. This ain't no only for one night with your Luther Vandross self, okay? You ain't for be here no whole month, all right? Listen. I need my lights on, okay? You want something from me, and I want something from you.
A simple transaction. I mean, it's a mutual transaction and that's what kills me with these younger girls. They get these dudes. He can't change the oil, but he's driving her car. Something breaks in the car, he can't fix it. But yet she still got to do her duties, and he ain't bringing nothing to the table. And my mother always said, again, and I said it, I think they said it in the show, but my dad and my uncles used to say that will sell when cotton and corn won't. That will always sell.
Well, I tell you this, man. It's rules to things now that are in place that wasn't in place back in the game. Like if you want to be in the drug trade now, you got to sign the snitching contract before you go in. You got to be able to tell on everybody. And when it comes to these younger girls nowadays, the easiest way to get you a bad one. I'm talking about a thick yellow one. Just have a joystick. Just have a joy. If you got a PlayStation joystick in your motherfucking pocket, you're going to get you a bad motherfucker. Because that's what a lot of them just require. For you to lay the wood and play the PlayStation all day. Be here when I get home. They go out there, make the money. They go out there, bust their head, and he at home trying to figure out if he can score 50 with Kobe on NBA Live.
That and having another woman up in your house while you out there working 2011 jobs so he can sit up on the couch and play PlayStation. I don't even wish I would, okay? But yeah, I mean, I just, wow.
Now, if you get the right game on the PlayStation, you know, that's a different thing. But they got some games where, you know, it shows some things. But I mean, if all he's doing is playing live and Madden, you know, you can get you a bad one because that's all they require. That's all they require.
Well, what about these older women getting these younger dudes? And, you know, and nothing against the older dudes and stuff, but you hear a lot of older women saying that the pickings in their generation is very slim. So they're getting these younger dudes, and all they expect of these young dudes is to, you know, give them sex and play PlayStation all damn day.
Well, the older ones, I figured them out too. You know, I think my own way. The older ones, you know, when it comes to the older man has figured out the game. You know, you paying $1,000, $1,200 a month, mortgage, car notes, lights, and all that. When the older man nowadays is just looking for the Section 8 package. Because if he can get the Section 8 package, that means they're going to be paying that limited light bill, $10, $12 a month. The rent going to be about $15, $20 a month. They getting food stamps, so you ain't got to buy no food. So all you really do, like J. Paul say, you just need to be the wood man at that point.
Such low standards, Lord have mercy. I mean, I guess that I could just never be that chick, okay? I don't need nothing lazy on my couch playing PlayStation while I'm out there busting a hustle. Ain't gonna happen.
But, you know, we got to be honest with ourselves. I mean, it's happening. It happens every single day. You see what I'm saying? And then if he don't score enough and you happen to walk in the door, when he don't score enough, he beats shit out you. So they get the ass whoop. He playing the PlayStation all day, and they love his dirty draws.
Yeah, C. Kelly says, yo, Warzone, you guys are bananas tonight. 5-star, you need to be on the stage, and Donovan, you need to manage him. So.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you, man. People keep telling me that, but I don't think I'm a comedian. I just think I just say things in a way that just it's laughable, but it's real. You know, it's just real. And I'm being honest with you, man. I used to go to this school. I ain't gonna say the school name. And the whole administrative staff was females. So when I would go into a closed door meeting on this school campus, I'm talking about they would turn the music on, be dropping it like it's hot. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, I'm loving this. I got a pocket full of ones too. Shit ain't finna be no learning today because y'all finna put some work in. But you never know where the hoes be at. I'm telling you, you never know. And I'm gonna be honest, I think that from an ethnicity standpoint, that African Americans don't have a problem being openly, you know, open about what they do. And some days they just put it out there when the other races, they might be hoes, but it's after the beauty supply close.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to cut you off, Demetria. Curtis Chavez, he's talking to Mashawn Baines, and he says, this needs to be discussed. My niece is young and beautiful, but she's laid up with a useless F-boy, and now he just makes guest appearances to their daughter and to lay claim to her. And I didn't know what an F-boy was until I was talking to Demetria's daughter. So, Demetria, do you got a reply for that?
Yeah. So I want to go to the middle of your comment. How you doing, by the way? You say useless F-boy. And my daughter, that I guess is applicable to my daughter's generation. She's, 28, will be 29 at the end of this year. And I guess there's some older F-boys, and that's F-U-C-K boy, if you guys didn't know what that meant. I firmly believe that those type of men are created. Those type of men are raised or not being raised. And typically those type of men or boys, guys, they don't have a good male figure, whether it's their father, grandfather, whoever in their lives. And so, and not to blame moms, I'm not trying to blame moms, but from what I understand and from what I see, a lot of them do have single mothers who coddle them and, oh, he can't do nothing wrong. That's my baby. That's my prince. And then he gets out there and tries to get into a relationship from what he knows or doesn't know of a relationship. And he becomes, you know, an F-boy. And then the other part of it is, you know, regarding young girls is they need to be taught, for one, to recognize that type of a man or a boy and to stay away from him. Like, but that's what I was saying earlier. Men like that, or who are out there, you know, or in community, the community man, that man is attractive. They're attractive for some reason to young girls. Like, all the girls want to be with him. It's like, but he hasn't shown you anything. He's got swag. You know, he knows all the latest this, that, and the other, the latest dances, whatever. But that's all he can do. And then they mess around and have a child with them. But in essence, they're having a child with a child. He doesn't know how to be a man. So that's how that relationship it ends up getting created. So.
Yeah, I see the comment from Curtis Chavez, and he said this needs to be talked about. It definitely does. Now, from your perspective, that's one way. But from a father's perspective to his son, you need to stay away from her. Say, man, I asked my nephew one day, what type of girl this is you dealing with? He say, man, how I can say it? Just keep it 100. Just say what you need to say. He say, man, I go lay up with her every time I want. I ain't got to pay nothing. It's good. I say, and guess what she doing? She plotting with up because she gonna keep putting it on you. And when she break your ass down, mentally, she gonna get everything out your ass. So the same way a mom gotta teach them girls, these dudes gotta teach these boys. Because sometimes these girls turn these guys into F-boys. They turn them into F-boys. They don't require them to do anything. You see what I'm saying? Walk through the door. We're going to go half on him. Okay, when it's time to pay the bills, he ain't got his half. Well, I'm going to pay it this month. We just make up for it next month. No, some of them turn these dudes into F-boys.
How many of you guys that have military background, especially in the Navy, I literally saw the ship go out and the spouses, male and female, were waving to their loved ones as the ship is going out, and they got their boyfriend or girlfriend right next to them. Or, especially in the females, if there's a Marine base next door or Air Force base, they're at the club that night. So hoism is, like I said, it's ingrained in just people in general. I just think overall. So
I had a neighbor who her husband worked the docks or the ports or whatever it was, and he would be out to sea for a while. And right next door to me, I mean, her dude would just pull up, and I'm like, she got her a good man from what I could see, right? She didn't have to work. She was home with the kids, and he's gone for, you know, I don't know, a couple of weeks at a time, and she just having a good old time. But when he would come back, you know, he would never know the wiser. And I was like, oh, I should tell on her, but I just minded my business, you know.
See, that's because you come from a different generation. If you was in this generation, you'd have snitched on the first day. I'm telling these folks sign snitching contracts nowadays. They sign snitching contracts. But yeah, that happens quite a bit. And you know, how do we change it? Some days you gotta have some conversations that sound a little funny. Some of them sound very, very serious. We got a lot of issues in our community. And F-boys is a problem. I'm gonna tell you that now. F-boys is a problem. What we talking about is a problem. Because it's not cool to be the independent, you know, business owner woman nowadays. You don't hear that coming out them young girls' mouths that much. But they cool being a bitch and a hoe and whatever car they and Megan tell them to be. You know, so some days we gotta have these tough conversations, man.
Yeah, and Curtis, you also say, and Stacey, I also want to take your comment too. But Curtis say these boys don't even know how to change a tire, cook an egg, or clean dishes. They have money by slanging, but no jobs and no prospects. Yeah, that's those the attributes of a man, has not been taught to them. They've just been taught to be cute, to be the best dressed dude or whatever in the school, or and that their outer person was, had the most work, if you will, the facade of who that person is, but nothing, no values or anything like that was put into that boy that's now, and I call a lot of those they're boys masquerading as men. Even when they get older, they think that they are being a man, but they're not. They're just, really still little boys. But the other part that is, women don't teach their daughters who to look for. The best example that I've ever heard was, oftentimes we as parents, in regards to our daughters, we teach them to be looking for Prince Charming, right? We've all heard the story of Prince Charming. He's handsome. He rides up on the horse, and he's, that's pretty much it, right? But we don't tell our daughters, well, okay, Prince Charming, be nice if he's cute and he got a nice ride or a horse, but he also needs to be respectful. He needs to be a provider. He needs to be a protector. He needs to have all of those other things. It can't just be Prince Charming on the surface. And so there needs to be a balance of what we're teaching our children, so they can end up, teaching better children. And then I want to take Stacy's comment. She says, and I think you're talking about the same man. He says, I was married to one, a F-boy. He said, I thank God for mercy, grace, growth, and redemption. He also going to say, my husband is the best man I know. It's my testimony. Just let go. And what's for you will get to you. And I would say, yeah, that's absolutely true. And then, thank God that situation worked out for you. I just was always one of those type of women that I would go the distance with a man, but I also knew my limits, if that makes any sense. I just, I couldn't stick around, and I've dated, some dudes who were the most, and I just, certain things I couldn't endure. My mom used to always say, a woman's got to kiss a lot of frogs until she finds her prince. And just, being 50 years old, I now know that's true. You're gonna come up across a lot of frogs or F-boys, if you will, and then you might find the right one, maybe.
Blazing says you got to have the man, the father around for that. There's multiple reasons why that is not happening in Black families. I want to kill myth for a second. I got to give these sisters some credit. Some of them just raise good kids, man. If that ain't there, okay, cool. We got to stop acting like because we ain't there doing what we supposed to do, that this kid is going to turn out bad. No, that doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen all the time. When you just got good stuff in you, you can teach a kid to be anything. You see what I'm saying? But what a mom can't do is teach a boy how to be a man. But she can teach him how to be a good person. Some of these people out there doing some of the stuff they doing are just not good people. And they're not being taught by good people. So kudos to them sisters raising them kids, that raised them kids, grandmas that did it, because it can be done.
Real quick, 5-star. I remember a couple of shows back, and you were talking about how, right now, we're talking about hoism. And every year, come prom time, you see our young daughters are dressed in the most stuff. I'm talking about they spend $5,000 on the dress. She's got the boob implant right here, the little pasty on the chest and all that other stuff. So, is hoism being taught to the next generation in regards to the mama?
No doubt. This is my favorite time of the year because I get to see the fly cars, the dresses, and the nice suits. But I don't see these kids on the day you drop them off at the college dormitory. I don't get to see them pictures. Or they go to the community college. Or I don't get to see the pictures where you drop them off for their first job. But a bunch of broke people that don't have no money. During the pandemic, I'm looking at Bentleys. I'm looking at Teslas. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at all this stuff, man. So that in itself can create an altered persona that turns your child into this money grabbing, whether they male or female.
Real quick, Dimitri, remember we did a show on that mama in Baltimore or something, and she did that Egyptian. She spent all this money for her son's prom, and and come to find out she borrowed the money or something, or she stole the money. It was a big mess.
She was supposed to be on Social Security, and she had rented a helicopter and all, all kind of stuff. Just went all out for her son, but it went viral, and the Social Security was like, "Oh, word, you underreporting your income clearly." So she ended up getting in trouble for that. But yeah, it's definitely taught. Because a lot of times these mothers are city girls and having hot girl summers, and they competing with the kids, or this is the thing too. A lot of women, not all, but a lot of are teaching their daughters, you got to go get the bag. You got to, you got to secure the bag. But it's like, well, what does that mean? Are you telling her she got to go secure the bag on honest terms, going into a job and earning this money or whatever? Are you telling her to be a money grubbing hooker and getting it by any means necessary? Back in our day, and I say our day because we all in the 50 club now, used to call women or girls like that car hops. Remember that? Like if the dude had a nice car,
yeah,
the girl
car hops. Yeah, Special K.
Yeah, he got a tricked out Nissan or something, and you you want to be with him because he got a nice car, but he didn't have nothing else,
Well, I agree with you. Everything right now is a hot girl summer. Some of you old hoes, y'all having a hot flash summer. Y'all having hot flash summer. But they teach this. Before you can change kid behavior, you got to change adult behavior. Before you can change kid behavior, you got to change adult behavior. And that's the thing. You have to. You feel what I'm saying? You have to. But nowadays, it takes a village. Man, I ain't the villager that want a gun pulled on him for trying to help some of these kids. And it ain't the kid, it's the parent. You see what I'm saying? So when you see some of this behavior out here, you can best believe they learned it at home.
I want to address Blazing. How you doing? You say the man I am is because of who my father was, good and bad. Woman gives her a son her heart. He said woman gives. Your comments kind of messed up, but I think you meant that the woman gives her son her heart. I think if that's what you're trying to say, and the man gives his son his sins and his character. I've actually heard a man say that before. He says, "My father wasn't no good, and I'm not no good." And I'm like, you owning that? You claiming that and making that the reason why you do women the way you do? I mean, at some point in time, I just think you have to step up, because to me, I think that's really, I don't know if I necessarily believe in that that's what a father leaves his son. Now, maybe the character, I don't know, but his sins. And then if you're cognizant that you have been left the sins of your father, I guess, I get where you're going with that. Why are you walking in that? If you know it's a sin being that it's bad, why are you walking in that and continuing, with those negative attributes, especially in regards to a woman in a relationship with her?
Your pops can lead you a lot of things. I had a conversation with a white Republican today. Good dude. Gonna have lunch with him when I come in. And he said, "Man, you wise beyond your years." My father left me his wisdom because he had a way of talking and putting things together. I couldn't understand it then, but as I got older, it made more sense. Like he would tell me things, Donovan. He would say, "If you got one woman, you're good. If you got two, you're gonna be okay. But if you got three, you're gonna go broke." And I say, "Why you say that?" He say, "Because you need to treat them all the same way." He say, "So it make more sense to have one." But like I say, man, I mean, you can expect these kids to change. They want to change. But if we don't put the positivity in their face, because all they see is negative. That's all they see a lot of days is just negative. We got to put more positivity in their face. And I think my babies, and that's what I call them, my babies can be more than just drug peddlers and strippers. They can be whatever they choose to be. You see what I'm saying? But we have to prepare them. We have to talk to them. Just like when it comes to education, a lot of black parents don't even realize that you can start having your child take the SAT in the 7th grade. That score will stand there. Just keep taking it. Imagine how many times they take the SAT from 7th grade to being a senior. By the time you're a senior, you probably done mastered this thing, got an 1800. You see what I'm saying? But see, that ain't what we trying to teach our children. We trying to teach our girls how to twerk. We trying to teach them how to twerk. When I see them little kids on social media with that foolishness, it burns me up every day.
Yeah, so you're right. There's things that we should be leaving our kids. That's something they can actually use. Like I said, you're teaching them to twerk, but do they know the ABCs? And that's what I said the other day. You talk to some of these babies, they can't even talk. At 2 and 3 years old, they can't even put a sentence together. They still sound like they, 9, 10, 11 months old. And it's because parents, and a lot of parents nowadays just aren't talking to their children. They don't have conversations with their children at all. The only time they're talking to their children is they're barking orders at them or telling them to go to bed or stop, be quiet, but never anything engaging. And so, yeah, I mean, we got to start pouring some life and some usefulness into these children, like what was poured into us. Now, I'm not saying that's all parents today, because I know this generation, they get a bad rap. There are a lot of great parents in this, millennial generation. My younger brother is one of them. All 3 of his kids are geniuses, but their parents pour those things into them. They talk to them, like they're grown-ups with expectations and all that kind of stuff. And I say that is because they are millennials and, their kids will go off and do great things, but your kids only know what you teach them or what you don't teach them.
You said a mouthful when you said geniuses, because minus the mental health challenges, no matter what color you are, we all give birth to geniuses. And the system and society dummies them down. It dummies them down. So these kids are geniuses when they come out the womb. If your kid don't understand financial literacy, but they selling a bunch of dope every day, then 1, they know how to build a company. 2, they know how to count. So why don't you take that energy and put it into another place? Instead of selling dope, let's find you a business that you can build and you can still make the same money that you're making, but you ain't got to be out there taking a penitentiary chance. You see what I'm saying? But we all give birth to geniuses. The system, the school system, society dummies our geniuses down.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Like I said, it's the conversation, we like to switch it up a lot for you guys and stuff like that. And even though we started off really, really funny, it always usually goes to a topic that really could affect our communities and something we really need to think about. We're not saying mothers are always at fault. We're not saying the fathers are always at fault. Because like I said, that thing, we do the best we can in the aspect that we can do it. But there's a lot of application to all of these things. Hoism leads into this and that and this, and it can affect anybody. So, I think this discussion was pretty even-handed tonight. So I really enjoyed that.
Final thoughts, Ms. Demetra?
Yeah, so I really just want to leave off of what you said as far as everybody gives birth to geniuses. And I totally agree with that. But what you do and do not pour into those children will determine what they'll be in life, whether it's a whole man or woman, or a dope dealer, or somebody who is owning and running a corporation or changing the world. And I think we'd all should strive to be raising world and game changers. Start putting some good information into these children. These children are very smart. They are way more advanced than we ever were, they're just not getting the proper guidance like we got, because our parents and grandparents were a little bit more invested. And I always throw in social media and stuff like that. It's just the time suck. A lot of parents won't even look up from their phones all day to even say, hey, baby, how you doing? I see you. I care about you. You know, our parents, unfortunately, left us to be latchkey kids because they were out there working. But there's a lot of kids who are latchkey kids with the parents in the home because the parents are stuck to their phones, or, you know, are they in the Facebook beef or whatever. And so, you know, we really just have to make sure we steer those geniuses in the right direction.
Final thoughts, Donovan?
Real quick, $67 trillion, $67 trillion in the white community alone will be transferred from the baby boomers to their generational descendants. They're going to get $67 trillion. It's estimated that the black community will transfer $6 trillion in wealth. $6 trillion, because we do have an upper echelon that do make decent money, but it's not enough as a whole, as a people. We really need to start getting our finances in order. We have less than 2 years ago, Andrew Yang said we had less than 12 years, did not predict the pandemic. We really need to get our finances together. We need to get and elect leaders that are going to get us and cut us a check. I don't care if it's reparations, cut us something, because we are drowning. And we, if not already, a permanent underclass, and that's where they want to keep us. So we really got to keep our eye on the prize. If you have children out there, please start teaching them financial literacy. It's not enough to just have Big Mama's house and you live in it. Teach them you got to pay the damn property tax on it. Teach it you got to have insurance on the house. You got to teach these things, because this is how they're getting us. It is a damn shame, and it is a financial fact that a black person, the average black person's wealth is their car. That's it.
Wow. That was amazing. Saturday was a shakeup over in Fort Bend County with the elections. Some elections didn't go the way that people thought they were going to go. But that's something we've been trying to tell y'all for the longest. So these midterms that's coming up in 22, if I'm correct, 22, Donovan, it's going to be some major shakeups, man. I need you to start looking at candidates. I need you to start researching your candidates, and please research them with an open mind so that you can pick the right person for whatever race is going to be in. They don't have to just be black. They don't have to just be a Democrat. You see what I'm saying? Start researching your people now. And to give y'all an update, talked to State Representative Ron Reynolds today. The Crown Act has made it to the calendar in the Texas state legislation. If you don't know what the Crown Act is, that was the kid out in Barbers Hill, DeAndre Arnold, who had the issues with his dreadlocks. So they are fighting to get this passed so that they can stop the discriminatory practices against African American kids or African Americans in general in the school and the workplace and different places like that as it pertains to your hair. So let's that's a good bill right there that I would love to see passed. So keep that in mind. Start researching your candidate, man. And let's see if we can get Walter on here Thursday night, Dimitri. We got a lot of people asking about IULs, and see if we can have that discussion. If we can't get Walter, I'll see if I can reach out to Leah Rutherford, because I know she does them at the moment, and see if we can get somebody in here. Because whether it's an IUL, whether it's regular insurance, whatever, we got Tamika Jones Motley on here. She was with Primerica. If you need insurance, it's not very, very expensive. Depends on what you want and what you need for your family. Reach out to Tamika Jones Motley with Primerica. Leah Rutherford, your does IULs. You can reach both these people on Facebook, and they'll take care of you. And if you have a conversation with Tamika, she gonna get in your chest. I'm telling you now, because if you can spend money on everything else, you can definitely spend money to secure your family. Say, man, it's a reason we the best in the business. It's called the War Zone every night on YouTube and Facebook. Say, man, I want to thank my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Until tomorrow night, we'll holler at you.